2017 Hyundai Santa Fe with the 3.3 V6 engine. Today we're going to be doing the front brakes, pads, and rotors. Let's get to it. First step is going to be to go ahead and remove your wheel by removing the 5 21mm lug nuts. Next, we'll go ahead and remove the 2 14mm bolts, or caliper bolts. You grab your pads before you remove the caliper all the way, so that these springs, these separator springs, sometimes they'll shoot off, especially if they're really worn out. Go ahead and save your separator springs because sometimes your new hardware won't come with them, so you may need to reuse these. Go ahead and remove the old hardware, like so. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove our caliper mounting bracket by removing the 2 17mm bolts holding it in. For this, I'm just going to use a box wrench and a hammer to break them loose because it's kind of tight in here. So getting a tool that's small enough strong enough would be hard. Please don't tell me they Loctited these. A lot of rust. Alright, and finally we can go ahead and remove our rotor. To remove the rotors on these, you're going to need to remove these 2 locking screws right here, and I highly suggest you get a slap hammer for this, or a slap screwdriver. Go ahead and insert into the screw and then start rotating like you're trying to break it loose and slap it with a hammer. and remove the rotor. all that rust. That's incredible. Thank you. Brake rotor, and make sure you line it up with the holes for the screws. And when reinstalling, you really only need to install one screw, and that's just to keep this thing down. In fact, technically, you really don't need to install any screws. These are installed from the factory so the rotors don't come off while this is going down an assembly line. So it's just there to make sure the rotor stays flush until the wheel gets bolted on, and the wheel would actually hold everything together. But it is convenient just to have the rotor flush at all times, so I usually at least put one back in. Next, we can get our caliper bracket. Two things we need to check for: that is rust that will build up where we put our hardware. So get yourself a wire brush and just go over it lightly just to make sure it's nice and clean. A lot of water likes to sit in between the hardware and the caliper mounting bracket, and that'll cause it to rust, and you don't want to have any issues when you're installing your new hardware. So make sure you brush those down. You know, nothing crazy, just make sure that there's no obvious rust deposits on them. They should look fairly clean. Second thing you want to look for is your slide pins or guide pins. You want to make sure that these pull in and out just like this. If they don't, you'll need to pull these out, re-lubricate them, give them a good spin when reinstalling, and if still no good with this, you may need to get yourself a new caliper guide pin or a new caliper mounting bracket that comes with the guide pins already installed, just to be safe, because we don't want this caliper to lock up. And for anybody curious, while we're doing slotted and drilled rotors, all parts in today's video were provided by the customer, so I don't have an answer for you. That's also why I'm not giving any part numbers like I normally do, because he got these from where's that place called? Detroit Axle, which is like a online, they're heavy on eBay and stuff. Their parts are good, but if I can't put my recommendation behind it, I'm not gonna advertise for them. So and in our brand new brake pad set, we'll find our new hardware. Just install this and then clip it down into place. Give me one more. There we go. There we go. That was a bit more of a pain. Make sure that your alignment on these is set up by just rotating your rotor, and just make sure it's not making contact with that hardware, and you should be pretty fine. After that, get some of our brake parts lubricant. Just put a tiny dot. If it'll let me. Now we bring in our brand new brake pads. The brake pad with your wear indicator, that's this piece of metal right here that will start digging into your rotor as your brake pad wears down. This goes on the inside, and the one without goes on the outside. And just like I said previously, it looks like our new hardware did not come with new separation springs, so we're gonna go ahead and reuse the old ones. Just get in there. Oop. All right, and our final step is to compress our caliper pistons back in. To do that, we're gonna go ahead and grab one of the old brake pads, put it like so, and utilizing our handy dandy C-clamp, go ahead and compress our pistons back in. And yes, I know before somebody jumps in my comments that they make specialty tools to do this. They cost about 50 bucks on the medium side, and they usually last about 6 months before they break. I've been using this C-clamp for about 10 years, and it's handled everything I throw at it, so that's what I'm sticking with. All right, now you can go ahead and throw the old brake pads away. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Go ahead and do the exact same job to the opposing side of the vehicle, and you'll have successfully replaced your brake pads and rotors on this vehicle. Make sure before you start driving off that you pump your brakes to build up pressure in these calipers again, especially doing the fronts. You need to make sure you have that pressure there. So before you start your engine, pump your brakes. You'll feel that pressure starting to return after 3 or 4 pumps, and you'll be good to go. But other than that, if you'd like to see more videos on this vehicle, go ahead and check out that video next. I made that one just for you. But other than that, if this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see y'all next time.